Hello, hi everyone. Welcome to another Soul Feng Shui episode. Today with us we have got Teresa Rocco, my dear friend. She's a self-love and relationships coach. And obviously because Valentine's Day is coming, so I thought that would be really interesting to have this conversation with Teresa and hopefully also find some tips or how to improve your own self-esteem, self-love, improve your relationships, or perhaps even find ways to find that person, that ideal partner, ideal husband, ideal boyfriend that you might be looking for at the moment. And so, welcome, Teresa. It's lovely to see you.
Thank you, Luz. It's so nice to connect with you, and I'm very honored and I'm very grateful and happy to be here. It's exciting. Thank you for giving me this possibility to share with you what are my tips to find a soulmate.
Thanks, Teresa. So I just have to say that I'm also really excited, and also just kind of going back a little bit from the time that we met. We met a few years ago. I can't remember now exactly how long ago, but perhaps 8 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that.
Yes,
And
probably. Yeah,
and we were
long
both
time ago.
I mean, I worked in a company that you were actually, you were one of the managers. I worked there briefly, and immediately we kind of really we had some affinity and we really got on well. But the funny thing is that at the time, I think none of us really ever exchanged any ideas of, because now I am a holistic counselor as well. You are a relationships and self-love coach, which is quite similar fields at the moment. And at the time, I
Yeah.
think we never actually really talked about it. And lo and behold, a few years later, then we end up doing pretty much similar things as well. And I actually just found out, I mean, I do remember last time when we met in person, you did mention that, you did have that you were looking to change career and to become a coach. You were also interested in psychology, so we did share that a few years later. But I didn't actually knew, because then we went to a period of not talking with each other. So I didn't actually knew that you had started already. I saw a Facebook group that you created, which was called, can you remind me what was the name of it? Was it Self Love? No.
The name is My True Love.
Oh yes, My True Love, that's right.
Yeah, there is a reason behind that because obviously, love can only come from a place of love, which means if you don't love yourself, then obviously you won't be able to give and love others. So that's why I named it My True Love, love for yourself.
That's really beautiful. And then I remember seeing some videos of you, just talking about different aspects in relationship, about a person as individual and the emotions and all of that. And I guess also you talk about limiting beliefs and, talk about different subjects in there related with self-love and relationships. And I thought, wow, it sounded so genuine the way you talk about things, and it really resonated with me. And I thought that, this is a message that a lot of people really need to hear. And also people can relate to you because you're not talking from, I think a lot of coaches, sometimes they come from a sort of, feels quite patronizing way, or,
Mm.
I have got these and my life is perfect.
Oh yeah.
And and you have to do this and your life is going to be perfect. I think you're very down to earth. You tell about your experience, what you've been through, how you overcome things. So I think, it was just really amazing. So, um, Teresa, just going back, back in time, you actually study languages. That's, you did your master in that, languages and tourism, right? You travel a little bit. So how come that, further down the line and you end up being a relationship, self-love and coach, what happened in between? If you could give us sort of a brief idea.
Was when I was in Salerno, living in Salerno, I've always wanted to study psychology, but at that time, that faculty wasn't there, and I couldn't afford to leave in a different city. We didn't have much money at the time. My parents separated when I was 6, and the situation was, we went through a difficult time, to be honest with you. And also, I've always had that, will to help others. I always wanted to connect, to help those in need, or, maybe people I was really connected to. So then what happened was, uh, my father left, and when you are a kid, everything that you experience from the age of 0 to 7, you're going to absorb like a sponge. So these are the years where you create your beliefs and everything that you know about life, and this is going to influence you forever. This is the this is what is going to influence you in the future with your relationships outside your family. I didn't know at that stage, obviously. But then, growing up, I graduated in languages. I started to travel. I traveled to different countries. I lived in Germany. I lived in Portugal. I lived in UK. And then here, I realized that I still had a chance, to really do what I really loved, and what coaching. That's when we had the chat together. At that stage, I was trying to identify what really was my calling. But if you remember, I'm not sure you remember, but I had different relationships, so different experiences that brought me to think that was something I was doing wrong. So that was a pattern there, that I could see that I wasn't happy, and every time I was starting a new relationship, I was ending up leaving, hurt and unfulfilled and feeling like a failure. That's what brought me to coaching, and that's why I decided to study relationships, and I read so many books from experts from all over the world, then opened my mind so much, and it became a mission for me. And I said, okay, now I want to study. I want to help as many women as I can, to just heal and make sure that they can materialize that love of their dreams, basically. And
Wow.
so yeah, that's what brought me to coaching.
Yes, and definitely. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of people can resonate with what you just said, because relationships, they do have got that potential to really make us go really inwards, and to bring up all the stuff that is there that sometimes we don't want to look at. And especially with, certain relationships, things that might come up in relation with our emotions, that obviously, like you said, come from previous beliefs, and that realization that maybe the reason why we hurt is not so much of what's happening in the present, but it's because we are associating what happened in the past to whatever is happening now, or the emotional baggage. So how was your healing journey? How did you manage to really tap into your limiting beliefs and to heal that? What sort of things did you do, if you can remember those, or perhaps that might be you might use as well now with your clients as well to help them?
Yes. Yeah, I think there is some digging work to do. You really need to go into your memories, identify what are the memories that your mind or your brain is focusing on, because those memories are the ones that formed the beliefs. So once you identify your memories, that's a lot of work to identify your fears, the fears behind your memory. So it's imagine like, it's a Jenga tower. So there are all these limiting beliefs stuck one on another. And it really is a job of digging so much to try and identify that core belief there really is the belief that you need to transform in order for all the other beliefs to crush down together and you break free. So there are different techniques which I use with my coaching. For example, the NLP techniques. There are some very powerful questions that you can ask your clients to bring them back to that moment. But also I use energy healing techniques. So the process is going to be a little bit like clarity. So getting, to know, to identify your limiting beliefs, starting to transform them through these techniques like NLP, EFT, and then trying to understand what inspire actions you can take to be consistent with and to obviously adopt a new, more empowering belief. Because it's not about forgetting what you've done in the past or forgetting what you were. It's only about trying to transform that pain into something that really can empower you. That's your strength. And you can move from there. You can move into a place of love. So you can abandon fear and you can gain so much love in your life. That's absolutely amazing. So that's the work I've done on myself, and that's the work I'm doing with my clients. It's exactly the same.
Let me just check sorry. Give me just 1 minute because my internet is breaking out a bit. I just need to change the...
Yeah.
1 minute. Okay, good that I noticed because it was not plugged in. Okay.
I'm
fine.
glad that I am not the only one breaking up.
So you just mentioned about finding love within yourself. You said something, I can't remember exactly the words you mentioned now, but you said something about finding love. So you think those techniques and doing that healing process also brings a sort of a renewed love for yourself that can help with that as well?
Yes, I absolutely believe it because I've tried it on myself. And trust me, when people were telling me, you can't really love anyone if you don't love yourself, I was like, oh, yeah. Just, yeah, okay, it's easy for you. You have the perfect life. I was in that place of, they don't understand. What are you talking about? But then when you try it for yourself, it's absolutely amazing. So the amount of joy, the amount of all these good things coming to your life, materializing, it's absolutely, I don't know how to explain. It's obviously painful. I won't lie. It's not easy. What I find is some people are very defensive in the process, because obviously when you start to dig in to bring up all these emotions and to understand what has caused them to create that belief, there is a part of work that's it's about acceptance that your parents or people you were growing up with, they weren't perfect, they made mistakes, and it's difficult to let these ideas of our parents being perfect and all the teachings that we have about life and about us going. So it's easier to be in the comfort zone and hold on to the idea of ourselves than to let it go and feel better. So that's the hard part, just to accept. But it's the only place where you can find love, through acceptance, because no one is perfect. We all have our flaws, we all have things that we are not proud of, but it's important that we understand why we've done that. We did it because probably we didn't know anything better. And once we accept that we are not perfect, once we accept our imperfections, then we can really embrace our true inner being so much that we can start feeling the love. And that's the shift, basically. And then there is a shift there where you love yourself and you accept yourself. It's easier to allow yourself to receive love. It's like, I like that quote which says, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if you have an empty cup, you cannot pour. You have nothing to give, because you are empty. That's not love. And obviously you find yourself in that place of neediness, of wanting love, because you don't have anything inside you. Whilst when you are focused inwards and you have so much love to give, it's easier to accept love from others, and without being in that space of, I need, it's, you hold into love because you're scared that you're going to lose it, and then you are left with that gap again, that void. So that's why self-love and relationships, yes, relationships, but never forget the most important relationship in life is the one you have with yourself.
That's a very good point. And do you think that, for example, you're talking about the fear, and do you think that, at least I feel that sometimes the fear of facing those past experiences and realizing, how hurtful they were, or maybe how someone, the way that they brought you up was not right. Sometimes it's hard to admit it, because it feels almost, once you admit it, that then something is wrong with you. Almost you feel like, it's almost as if you blame yourself, or if you feel there is a certain shame as well, do you think that's also sort of maybe a reflection of society, that we all have to pretend to have perfect lives and perfect parents and perfect jobs and perfect relationships? Do you think if that might be related as well?
Yes, that could be the case. But also, it's all the other limiting beliefs that we have formed. So let's say that I was very, I grew up in the church. So I was very Catholic, for my religion, there are certain things that you would never do, like talk badly about your parents, for example, or disrespect your parents. So from that point of view, you would never disrespect your father, for example. So how can you move from that belief that it's really into your brain? It's there, you can't, it's difficult to take it and take it out from your brain. So it's more than fear of judgment and about the society, is what we have learned that's right and what is wrong. So, and we think that we need to be always consistent. We need to be always, if we don't like changes, so we don't like transformation. So it's a little bit like, for example, we think it's consistent. I am religious, so I don't. I don't know. I'm not envy of anyone, because this is what my religion says. But really, if you think about how many people are envious, and then if they would just accept it and say, okay, yes, in this occasion I've been envious of you because that's, unfortunately my feeling. Okay, and then start to identify the reasons behind that. Why did I feel that feeling? How can I accept and move on? So it is a bit, it takes time at the beginning. It's like going to the gym, you're not going to see results immediately. But then once you start understanding why, then it's the moment where you start the transformation process. So yes, definitely society, especially for us women, we now talking about relationship. We've been taught that, by a certain age we need to be married, by a certain age we need to have kids, and but also we need to have our house is perfect, and but we need to have our own pocket money, so also a job. There's so many things that society ask us to do that really it can be stressful. So yes, it's that place where we accept that this is what society told me, this is what family told me, this is not my belief. That's what they told me. So what is my belief? Just connecting with myself. What do I really want? How does it make me feel? So it's then when you're free. And this the fear comes because obviously people can see the change and they might not like it, because it's like oh, my daughter never said no to me, and today she did. But yes, you might not like it, but it's about not going to not do it because I fear of upsetting you. It's you can't put, like, you can't transfer onto myself your own fears. These are yours. So, and when we realize that what fears are yours or what fears we have inherited from our parents or society, then we can really transform ourselves and our beliefs.
Wow, that is really powerful, especially when you mention about society beliefs and what they almost impose on you. That can be quite harmful, like the idea, at a certain age you have to get married or you have to have kids, which it still happens now, 21st century. And that can be, and I see as well a lot of people that I work as well as a counselor, and that they come to a certain age and their life is actually good, when you look into it, but then they start having a crisis because they think that their life is not good anymore because society, according to society, or family, whatever, friends, everyone is doing these things like getting married and having kids, and they aren't. So they think that something is wrong with me, or I'm not being successful as they are. When they were, in fact, they were actually happy until someone came and told them, oh, you should be doing this and that and that, and they were like, oh, okay, I should be, and then they just go along with it. But like you said, I think it's quite empowering to find out really what you actually really want. And also, when you mention about feeling empowered, and you don't have to go along with whatever anyone else says, that's a really, really, yes, that's definitely
absolutely, yeah.
And did you last time when we actually talked briefly before this Zoom chat today, you mentioned about feminine energy. I thought that was very interesting. So was it something that you tapped in as well throughout your healing process, that you tapped in? Or was it like, and which kind of what did you take it from connecting with your feminine energy? And perhaps maybe if you explain a little bit what is it about connecting with your feminine energy? What is that about?
Yes, so exactly. What I found out that really during this process, I realized that I wasn't listening to myself, to my body, to my timing, and I wasn't enough activating feminine energy. I was very much as everyone else, because the world at the moment, how we've been brought up, is very much orientated to goals setting, tasks. The energy is very masculine. You have a list of achievements, just to tick on the list. Oh, I've done this job, and then this and the other, like family, kids, and then what else? Buy a house, and then do this, and then it's this energy of always doing, and trying to find outside a reason to be happy, when in fact, once you get something, you want something else. So it's never ending. This search for happiness, it's never ending, because you buy a house, okay, now I'm gonna be happy if I have kids, and then you have kids. okay, now I'm gonna be happy if I have a
When the kids
Ferrari.
leave the
And then
house.
you have a Ferrari, you're never happy. Exactly. Now, it's like the Christmas toy for kids. For how long are they playing with it? 2 days, and then they get bored and they want something else. This is human nature. It's natural. It's normal. But instead, nowadays we are witnessing this raising of consciousness. So it's very much more diverted into this feminine energy. The feminine energy is more intelligent, is nurturing, it's calm. It takes its time. It's more focused inwards. It's more about what really makes you happy, what brings you joy, not because you are achieving something or you're getting something done. The joy of being in nature, for example, the joy of a cup of tea, and also, it takes its time. And in the world, we all need both of these energies. It's like yin and yang in the Chinese, culture. It's the same balance. So we needed both this energy. And for us, it's very important because our month is based on our cycle. So we have these, weeks when we are very, very energetic, and then other weeks where we feel like down, we feel depressed, we feel sad, and we sometimes don't listen to our body. We force ourselves to do much more than really we should. So it's really, embracing this feminine energy, embracing the fact that there is a divine time for everything, and we don't need to be rushing around trying to get happiness in the materialistic things. We just need to look inward and really reconnecting with ourselves, really thinking about what brings us joy. And and then when we know what brings us joy, trying to find the courage to ask for it. So sometimes women have fear of being rejected, but really this can be an indication that our feminine energy is blocked because you fear rejection. Instead, when you are into your feminine energy, you don't fear rejection. This is what I want. This is what brings me joy. It's more emotional, It's okay, I am unapologetically a woman, and this is what I want. And it takes time. It's fine, but I want this. So it's really important for me. And I'm now trying to listen very much to my body, much more than I used to do before.
It sounds that it's quite connected with self-love, isn't it? And being kind to oneself, nurture yourself.
Yes. Yes. That's the other part, It's obviously, how would you talk to your best friend, and how do you talk to yourself? We talk all the time with ourselves, in our mind. We tell ourselves so many stories that are not true. Why would you say that to you? Like, some people are, no, I can't wear that because I'm ugly, or my body is not I'm not pretty enough, my body is not good enough, or I'm not fit. Or why would you say that to yourself? Would you talk in the same way to your best friend? So it's a little bit, yes, self-love. Like, be careful when you pick the words you use to describe yourself, to talk to yourself. So yes, it's all about self-love and self-care, definitely.
And a question that probably a lot of our listeners would like to know, because I know that your target group is mainly 30s, isn't it? Women in their 30s that are looking to either improve their relationships, improve their self-love, or finding the right relationship. So have you got any advice for these women that now, for the single women, especially for the single women that are in their 30s, they're looking for that awesome relationship, and awesome partner or husband. Have you got any specific advice or maybe things that they can do to put them into that path?
Yes, so what I would suggest is, first of all, to do the work on themselves, just to increase their self-awareness. And how do we do that? We need to be very clear on what our values are. Because if you value family and you have a date with someone who doesn't want kids or doesn't want to get married, that's a red flag. Sometimes we ignore red flags, isn't it? Because, oh no, I want a partner. Yeah, he might change his mind. No, it's not going to change his mind. It's very unlikely. So,
and that's quite
no,
deceiving as well, I would say. Sorry to interrupt you. I think that's quite
no,
deceiving as well, because you're deceiving yourself and you're deceiving the other person. You're saying that you're okay with it
exactly,
when you're actually not.
exactly. Why would you do that? But I've done that. So I've been there.
We all been
I
there.
know how it works. Yeah, I think so. So not judgment here. But that's the thing, first of all, write a list of values. What's important to you? Like, write a list, 10 values. What do you want? So you want a family, it's important freedom, you want to travel, you want kids, what you want. And then put them into order from the most important to the least important. Then you have awareness of what your values are. There is an exercise they can do actually. And that is, write this list down. And then now that you have the list, obviously, you need to make sure that you stick to your values. And how you do that, you need to strengthen your boundaries. So it's like, for example, when we say to a partner, okay, if you cheat on me, I don't want to know anything about you. And then they come back, I cheated on you, but I love you, and okay, I'm gonna forgive you this time. That means that your boundary is not strong enough. So when you know your values, you need to stick to it. These are my values. I'm so sorry, you're a nice guy, but we don't have the same values. And trust me, values are more important than that personality. Even if you find someone who's very, much like you, he likes the same things, because that's what comes up a lot for my clients as well. Like, I really had so much fun with this guy. We are very similar. We like the same things. But what about values? Because you can't build a strong relationship if you're going in a different direction. So I would say have clarity on what you want, know your values, and then just protect your boundaries. Protect your boundaries when you start dating from day one. And then everything will come. So trust the universe, surrender to the universe, because if you are very clear on what you want, it's very likely that you're going to receive it. I can't promise you're going to receive it tomorrow. I don't know, because it's, again, divine timing. But if you are clear, it's a big
At least
step.
you're going to be in the right
Step.
path, isn't it?
Yes, because if you don't know what you want, it's like going to buy a dress and you don't know what you want. It's a very difficult, because you can buy anything, and then if you don't even try it on, and then you go home and you don't like what he looks like, then it's no one's fault. It's just lack of clarity. The majority of the time, it's just lack of clarity and lack of boundaries. So
That's a good point.
yeah, yeah.
I think one of the issues as well that I see sometimes, especially women, because we do feel that we have got, especially if we want to have kids, we have got that sort of, we are quite limited in terms of time. So sometimes I see, a lot of women settling for not really that perfect relationship that they wanted, they wished for, but they just settling because they just feel that, I don't really have much more time, or maybe I'm never going to find someone that I really, and they just settle in. I think that's as well, that's obviously issue, and especially, in a long period of time, they, again, like you mentioned, is about boundaries, isn't it? To really draw very well. And I also see that, you know, when you start the process of defining who you are, defining your boundaries, defining your values, and even if, like you said, it might not come straight away, but even, you know, even each relationship is going to be sort of, I feel that at least it happened to me when it's kind of a step forward, and I feel that I'm a bit closer, even if I then, you know, it's not really that person, I have to break up and have to move forward, but at least the feeling that, you know, actually it's progressing. It's getting better and better, slightly better. So at least it happened to me, and hopefully it will happen for most of people as well. Did it happen to you as well? Did you feel that when you start working in yourself, that was it sort of immediately for you? It happened immediately, or it was also a process?
Oh yeah, it was very painful.
Mm.
I was coming from that place of neediness that I was mentioning earlier. It's like I was craving love.
Mm.
So I would settle. Yeah, I would settle. And at one stage, I was like convinced it was my fault. I couldn't get anything better. But then when I realized that I didn't have boundaries, I didn't know that I could. That sounds, shocking. But I was 30, 32. I didn't know what boundaries were. I didn't know I could say, no, I don't want this, or yes, I want this. Because I was taught, you can't complain. You need to be happy with what you have. This is, being a good Christian. No, really. Not really. A good Christian comes from a place of love. When you have strong boundaries, you allow other people to have strong boundaries too.
Mm.
So it's just, if you can be that strong person for yourself, and not coming from fear but coming from love, everyone else around you is going to match that frequency. It's unbelievable. So yes, it was a process, and unfortunately in the process I had to leave some situations and relationship and lose people I really cared about. But we weren't matching anymore. They weren't matching my frequency. Now that I am more self-aware of myself and I committed to, loving myself, I'm stronger. I'm in that position that I can choose, and it's not going to be perfect. There are things that probably you're not going to be able to experience, or to experience the way you want to.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely you're going to be happier with time. So that's the most important thing for me, really. And then yes, I think if you are very clear, your soulmate is going to manifest. So I keep positive.
You just mentioned something about self-love and how, you know, you had to leave relationships that, I don't know if you mentioned relationships or just a particular one that was really difficult, and you probably if you love the person. And it's really interesting because you said, you know, once you start loving yourself, so you felt like once the love for yourself was bigger than the love for the other person, that's when you managed to, you had the strength to break up ties, isn't it? Right.
Yes, it's that moment when you understand that, it's a person was neglecting me, and he was very focused on himself, and really, that point, I was looking back in my previous relationships, and that was a pattern for me. I was always giving so much of attention, of love, because I thought by doing that I would have, received love back. But really, I was neglecting the only person I had to focus my attention to. It was myself.
Mm-hmm.
So when you realize that you can't gain anything, you're gonna lose your dignity, you're gonna lose your confidence, and you start really, not liking yourself. Then it's from, when you reach the bottom line, that you understand, no, but the only certain things in my life is myself. and then that gives you so much strength for the change. That's what happened to me. I just you have that moment of realization when you say, no, now I'm gonna put myself first.
Very good. And my last question is, now, in terms of lockdown, it must be really frustrating. I mean, I talk with people where they find frustrating especially with young females. The males probably they don't express that much. Where they find it frustrating that they are in their 30s, they cannot go out meeting people, interacting with people, and they are ready for a relationship. They want to go out there and meet that person. Is there any tips that you might have for people to be able to to still be in their journey for that relationship, even though there is a lockdown, there is a lot of restrictions?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that this is the perfect time for self-reflection and for really gain that clarity I was talking about. So don't waste this time, because it's absolutely a gift. Just a journal, write down what you want, be clear, and then you're going to come up with ideas. Now, everything is online at the moment. There are so many apps. And, I get these objection quite often. I don't like apps or, dating apps. But really, there's only so much you can do, even especially in London, Luz. It's difficult to meet people. Even if you meet people all around you, they're not going to engage with you while they're rushing to work or they are on the tube, they're missing that train. So even before lockdown, dating apps were basically the moment, like the future, because everything is online. But just try to really think outside the box, all the possibilities, because you might fall in love with the postman or the Amazon guy who's dropping your parcel.
You never know.
You never know. Or last a couple of days ago, I went to do some shopping in Tesco, and I saw this girl. She was so dressed up, and she looked fabulous. And I was like, no makeup, like I'm going to do some shopping. She looked amazing, and I was like, wow, that's a good idea actually, because okay, I have a partner now, so I don't care. But if I didn't, that's great. She is going to the supermarket as she was going to a club. That's
you never know.
Like you have, I'm with you. You have my support. So well done, girl. So you never know. I mean, be open to the possibilities, because the more open you are, the easier it is. Like, you bring your cat to the vet, and maybe someone is there with their dog. You don't know. I mean, life is unpredictable. So it's for me, it's more keeping yourself in that positive mindset. Be open, think outside the box, and important is think and believe that it's possible, because it is possible. If you believe it's not possible, it's not going to happen 100%. So that's my advice. And good luck.
I really like that when you said about frequency, and you mentioned about the postman, because I do think as well that when you are in that high frequency, in a positive energy field, then these things happen magically, and maybe the person can come and knock on your door. Who knows? So yeah, it's divine timing as well. We really need to tap into that, isn't it? Especially now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I truly believe that.
Thank you so much, Teresa. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope that we can perhaps have another chat at some point later, maybe about other aspects of relationships or self-love. Is there any way that people that are watching this, that they might be able to get in touch with you? I will obviously put all the details as well down below on the video description, but if you would like to say any ways that people might be able to get in touch with you.
Yes, absolutely. So I have my Facebook group, which is called My True Love. And I have my Instagram page, is Teresa rock_coaching, so they can find me. Maybe if we put it in the description or in the comments. And yeah, they can also contact me via the website, and with any questions, I will be happy to help. So yeah.
And on Facebook, you are actually quite active on Facebook, aren't you?
So
on Facebook, you're actually quite active. You do post quite regularly.
Yes. So I'm preparing a masterclass as well.
Oh wow!
Yes. And hopefully, you know, I'm preparing this masterclass, how to manifest your soulmate. And so whoever is going to be in the Facebook will know when it's ready, when I'm going to go live with the masterclasses. So if they want to be updated, they can join my group.
And it seems to be that it's
and
quite
thank
supportive.
You so much.
It seems that it's also a quite supportive group, isn't it? Because I see other women commenting and, you know, chatting with each other. So that is quite nice as well, especially someone that might be going through the same experiences as you are and just exchanging ideas and experiences. Yeah, really nice.
Yeah, that's a safe place. It's women only, and it's a safe space for, you know, everyone who wants to share. They can share, or they can relate to my posts. I talk a lot about my experience as well. So any feedback is welcome, any stories. So it's really, like a community for women. So it's only for us.
Women power.
Women power.
Lovely to see you, and bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.